Peace and blessings and welcome back to Bodybuilding for Brass Players. I am Movie Kaylee G. Scott Jones, and today I am very happy to launch a mini-series. This will be my first real mini-series of videos, and we're gonna do a combination of instructional videos and interviews. And honestly, I think this is gonna be my first volume of Bodybuilding for Brass Players, the book. Okay, so part of the mission of creating this series has been to, of course, share this content, share these interviews and these different perspectives on everything, which of course I'm going to continue to do. But also I want to put this out as a book, both an ebook and a print book at some point in time. And I got to thinking, why don't I do multiple volumes so that I can really organize this into a series of publications. So that all being said, my first book is probably going to be dedicated to range. So this series that I'm launching today is all about building your range on whatever brass instrument you play. Okay, of course, I'm primarily a trombone player. So in this video, I'm going to be demonstrating primarily on trombone. But whatever you play, you can apply these same techniques to any brass instrument. So that all being said, I'm going to be doing most of my demonstrating on the trombone. But like I said, all of these techniques do apply to every brass instrument. Okay. Also, with this video, I'm going to add a link to a PDF that you can download. So the exercise I'm going to demonstrate today, you can download a free PDF of that, and of course, it will be in my book when that comes out. A few very important things I want to tell you about before we get into this exercise. When you're building range, the first thing I need you to do, and this isn't just about building range, this is about playing the instrument, period. The very first thing I need you to do is visualize yourself as a vocalist, okay? This instrument that you play is an extension of the human body, okay? What I mean by that is that the music we play as brass instruments really very often, if not always, imitates the sound of the human voice, okay? But instead of making pitch with our vocal folds, we're doing with our lips. Okay, they're vibrating in the place of our vocal folds. And of course, our bell has replaced our mouth as the resonating chamber for the sound to come through. That all being said, so that's number one. Number one is visualizing yourself as a vocalist, so that every note, every sound that comes out of your instrument needs to be vocal in nature, needs to be lyrical, so that it's not just a collection of pitches, okay? You can play scales all day long, which is what we're about to do in a second. You can play scales all day long and they can be very, very boring. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la. I'm not even gonna play them, it's so boring. Or you can make music out of every single pitch. And that's what we're gonna get into today, is how to make music out of every single pitch coming through our instruments. So throughout this exercise, focus on having a vocal sound coming through your instrument. That's number one. Number two is keep everything set up well. Okay, I'm going to talk about this one for a second. As long as you're set up with your embouchure well, and I don't mean stress out about moving this around, but as long as your embouchure is set up well and you're letting the air through and you're just supporting that air motion and you're vibrating the instrument well, guess what? As long as you're set up here and you can hear the next pitch and you can sing it in your mind or sing it through your mouth, you can hit the note. As long as you have a good setup and you can hear it and you can sing it, you can hit the note. Now, that all being said, that doesn't mean force the next note out. Never ever force a note. But if you can't hit it today or tomorrow, keep coming back to it. You will get that note. What we don't want to do is just max out by hitting that super high note and at one time and then we get it. You know, hold on a second. You know, great, I hit a high note. That's it, I'm done. No, that's not building your range. Building your range is building your command, your control over those notes, okay, and over that, and over your instrument so you can make the music. So never do something crazy to force that note out. As long as you're properly set up here, hear the note. Hear the solfege syllable if you know your solfege syllables. And then sing that note out and you'll get it. Da, da. Let me try that again. Hold on. Da. What is that, an F? That's a D. Anyway, enough of that. If you can hear the note in your mind and you're set up here and your fingers are in the right position or your hands in the right spot, whatever, you're going to get the note. If you can't get it yet, take your time, you'll get there. This particular video is really for the 3rd, 4th, 5th year player. If you've been playing 1 or 2 years, this may be a bit out of your, actually 1 year, this is probably definitely out of your range, unless you just switched instruments. But if you're new to brass playing, give yourself some time and then come back to this video. But share it with someone who's more experienced than you. That all being said, the exercise I'm going to demonstrate today is playing the major scales in all 7 modes. What are the modes? I'm going to make it real simple. C major scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, right? Each scale degree or each note in that scale has a different name associated with the mode, okay? C is Ionian, then D is Dorian, E is Phrygian, F is Lydian, G is Mixed Lydian, A is Aeolian, B is Locrian, and then the high C on top is back to Ionian. Now, you don't need to really memorize all those names right this second. Just know we're going to play the major scale starting on every scale degree. Here's an example. You could actually do the exercise like that, and that would be great. But what we're going to do is we're actually going to go up the scale and then back down, start on the next note, go up and then back down, just within 1 octave. This is level 1, okay? Level 1, as I'm presenting it, is just 1 octave up and down, and then gradually going up to the high 2nd octave, and then coming all the way back down to that first pitch. We're actually going to go 1 note lower whenever we can do it on the instrument, and then come back to that starting tonic or that do or that first pitch. Now, like I said, you could actually just go up and up and up and up and then stop and go to the next scale and do the same thing. Or just go down and down. You can make your own variations of anything I'm presenting. Why are we doing this? We're doing this for several reasons. Let me back up. So the first reason we're doing this is because building range is about hearing the pitches, as I've said before, and singing through the instrument. It's also about building tension, okay? When we're strength training, which is what we're doing, when we're building muscle, we need to have tension and release. Tension and release. Working up this scale, work up, 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 and then come on back down is releasing that tension. So you're building that tension, which is going to tell your body, I need to put more muscle there so that I can keep going higher and higher and higher, so that I can keep more and more and more in control. And then coming on back down to relax and reset, let your body get that blood pumping, those fresh nutrients in there into those muscles, and then starting over again. And it's just like working out. It is working out. It is a different form of working out, okay? Bodybuilding for brass players. That's why we're doing it this way. The next thing I'm going to say before I demonstrate a few of these scales, I'm not going to go through all 12 because that's a long time. What I would do when I'm practicing this, though, is I go through all 12. Okay, if I set aside 10 minutes or whatever the amount of time is and just go through all 12 of them, then it's a great session of tension and release. I'm strengthening my command of each scale and mode, which as an improvising musician, you got to have your scales and modes down. Even if you're not an improviser, or if you don't think of yourself as an improviser, doing this will make you a better improviser. Okay, so that being said, I would definitely allot the time to go through all of them in one session. So you're not favoring one key over the other. You want to be as comfortable in B major as you are in D flat minor. Okay. Weird examples, but it's true. You want to be as comfortable in any key, so that especially if you're an improviser or if you're sight reading or if you're an orchestral player or salsa player or whatever you do. So that being said, tension and release. What else do I want to say before I get into this exercise? I don't know. I might pause in the middle of this exercise to illustrate some things and explain some things as I go. But I'm going to start in C major, going all the way up to going up, like I said, and each time starting on a different scale degree. Hold on. So, talk a bit more here. Breathing. Let's talk about a few things. We're going to talk about articulation and breathing. I'm really going through one mode and then taking a breath. One mode and taking a breath. Now I'm playing a trombone. If I was playing my tuba, I might breathe halfway in between. I'm not sure. If I was playing trumpet, I might play through 2 modes and then breathe. It depends on what you play. But breathe musically. Breathing. That's about all I'm going to say about breathing. Number 2, articulations, dynamics, things like that. On the PDF I'm providing, there are no written dynamics, no written articulations. What you need to do is add the articulations you want to work on. If you want to focus on slur 2, tongue 2, do slur 2, tongue 2. Whatever it is you want to do. If you want to focus on double tonguing, you could double tongue each note. Or you can double tongue each individual note one time. Let me give you an example of some of those things. So this is going to be just slurring the entire, I'm going to slur one mode, and then I'm going to go ahead and do some double tonguing. Let's move on to F major. I forgot what I was doing. Okay, I'm making some mistakes because I'm trying to really think about what I'm doing. There's a lot of cerebral motion going on there. But the last one I double tongued the notes. Before that I was just double tonguing like da da ga da ga da ga da ga da ga da. So I'm switching notes while double tonguing. If you're just a real quick thing here, and I'm doing a lot of real quick things. If you are learning how to double tongue, you don't need a book for learning how to double tongue. Take some of the music or the scales you already know and just da ga whatever, or da ga or a triple tongue da ga da whatever you're doing, da ga whatever. Move on. So what I'm telling you is create your own articulation and dynamic exercise from this. You can gradually get louder and then softer, whatever you want to do. Slur it, phrase it, however you want to make it, however you want to do it, and make that music so that you're not just playing notes. We don't want to get bored. We don't want to get stagnant playing scales where it's just like, okay, here's the next note, here's the next note. We want to make music out of that scale, music out of those scales. Let me get this tuba for a second. All right. A flat major. I may have to adjust the microphone. I don't know. Is that picking up? It's picking up. So what's going on there? First off, I'm still warming up. This is honestly my first real practice session of the day. So you're going to hear all those first notes of the day in this video. That's just being honest with you. What's going on there? You can hear me struggling with the tube a little bit, you know, until I get real locked in. It's a battle right now. But guess what? I'm focusing on music the whole way through. Music, music, music the entire way through, whether it's just a note in the scale or whatever. So that it's, number one, it's worth my time. Always make music. Don't just make notes. So even with a scale, make something beautiful out of it, or something exciting out of it, or something whatever, or ugly out of it intentionally. Whatever you got to do, make it more than just notes. And then, just get into it. I don't even know what else to say about this really. So I'm going to try to wrap this whole thing up real quick here. Number one, I only demonstrated a few different scales. Take this exercise through all the 12 major scales and modes. Set out the time. Do this 2 or 3 times a week as an exercise, or do it every day of the week. That's what I would do as an exercise, and learn your scales. And then later on, I'm going to present level 2. Like I said, this is just level 1, is doing all of the scales as an exercise. Why? Because you need that tension and release, the tension release. You need that brain to get going and processing and digesting these scales so that you know them. And you're going to build your fluency through that instrument. You're going to build your intonation by doing this. As long as you're making the adjustments, you're going to hear that next pitch. And when you hear that next pitch and it doesn't sound right, you make that slide adjustment. You make that embouchure adjustment. You make that adjustment with that third slide, you know. Make those adjustments. Get in tune. So let's quickly recap here. The first part that I'm talking about with building range is vocalizing through your instrument. Every note you should be playing as a vocalist. Making music out of everything. I don't care what the exercises are. Number one. Number two is if you can hear it and you can sing it, and you're properly set up with the embouchure, you can physically play it. It may not come out right now, just like you might not be able to get on the bench press right now and bench press 400 pounds. I can't do anywhere near that. But if I keep working, I'll get there. With proper form and consistency, you will get there. So don't do anything crazy to get there. You'll get there. That being said, the other part of that same element is don't force a note. Never, ever just force a high note. Keep these cheeks in also. Like I said, if this is set up properly, that doesn't mean this. I see a lot of people playing like this because they're just blasting all this sound out there thinking you're going to put a ton of air through the trumpet. Trumpet is a little bitty tube, okay? Don't try to put a whole bunch of air through that. That's a different video in a different series. So number one, vocalize. Number two, properly setting up. Number three, I don't know if there was a number three. I'll get back to it and look back to it and bullet point if there was a number three. But, number three is tension and release. Time on task. So keep the instrument on your face for an extended period of time and then put it down. An extended period of time is like 30 or 40 seconds or a minute. And then stop, breathe, do the next scale. Stop, breathe, do the next scale. Tension and release. Working to stimulate muscle growth, and then bringing it back down to let the body reset and get fresh blood and fresh nutrients into the muscles. That being said, I'm going to wrap up. Like I said, this is level 1. This is the first video of a mini-series. Please stay along for this ride. It's going to be very exciting. And I'm going to also incorporate these same questions about building range into my next set of interviews. So that all being said, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done that. Please share this with folks, okay? I've been extremely appreciative of all family and friends who are watching my videos and supporting me, and please continue to do that. But also, I need other people who are specifically musicians, trombone players, trumpet players, horn players, euphonium players, tuba players, to really get into this content. So if your kid's going to college, or if you're in college now, and you're in a marching band, or you're a jazz major, or whatever, and you know some folks who would benefit from this, share it, okay? Let's do this together. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, all that wonderful stuff. Leave me a question, comment, or concern, please, or a suggestion, okay? That all being said, thank you for checking out Bodybuilding for Brass Players. Until next time.